I just noticed your a course the other day by
Hmm.
an incident because I am one of those that have been going to Cairo for pain everywhere for 1 year, and then I've tried osteo the other year and physio and lots of stretches and blah blah blah, and nothing helps. It keeps coming back, and I'm in my 30s, so and I feel like I'm 90.
Oh,
I guess I was surprised, but it kind of makes sense that you said that there are a lot of feelings and emotions and stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how I can bring those feelings up and work with them, I guess. That will be
yeah.
the
Have you
most difficult issue.
have you ever like until I was 30, I literally never had like a feeling come up ever and actually go, "Oh, oh, that feels bad. Oh, oh, poor me," and actually felt it and let it process. Uh,
Yeah, no, I haven't.
right.
Obviously, I feel feelings in the moment, and then I just
Mm,
thought that they go away. But
yeah.
obviously, I got a lot of stuff because I'm all stiff and nothing is helping.
Mm,
So that's, I don't know how to, I don't know, when does it happen? I guess that's my question.
yeah. I mean, it happens after like you begin to focus on the body and feel the body, right? Like it's as if there's some level of like attunement just to the physical sensations that's like the first level, right? So that's why the back pain miracle movements basically you're
Mm,
laying down on the floor, or you're sitting in a pretty comfortable position and you're doing these very slight movements of your whatever, your spine or hips or something like that, right? And you're noticing how the sensations change from one slight position change. You're paying like very, very deep attention to your body. And I don't know whether I would call it meditating, but you kind of get like a meditative deep focus on painful areas. And you won't, you can't just like, well, you kind of can just cause it, but I would say more than likely you'll be like suddenly surprised by just your thoughts will start to just for some reason go to particular moments in life and things that happened, or some emotion just comes up, right?
yeah,
However,
yeah.
the course isn't like that's not the only thing, right? Like
Mm,
there's the restoration of movement and body feeling. It is totally important. Some people just like specifically chase the emotions, but they kind of come from building the foundation of the connection with the body. So don't worry too much if your focus is purely physical in the beginning, right? The emotional stuff
yeah.
comes at some point when you're ready.
Okay, yeah. Hmm, thank
Have you
you.
tried the exercises yet?
Um, I have tried one of the exercises, the
Hmm.
first one, the laying down ones,
Hmm.
and I have a lot on my mind. I feel like I'm not 100% focused, which is
Sure.
weird because I'm really trying to be focused on myself, but then just 100 things are going on in my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes
Everything at
perfect
once. So
sense.
I don't even know, like a lot of different thoughts at once. So it's not even two, three thoughts that I can focus on. It's just a lot. It's like the head is mushed up by lots of things all the time because life is so stressful in general.
Yeah, I'm completely familiar with this experience. Don't worry. Um, it's like I think the head becomes that way from
Mm,
when we kind of like skip over the events in our life and like don't fully process them. Like we may spend time with them, but because there's so much like erroneous instruction and belief floating around the world, like we can't actually process it that well,
mm,
right? Like to process the events in your life, you need like a calm, objective type of consciousness and a belief system that's like rational and soothing and healthy, right? But like
Yeah.
there's so much chaos flying all around the world, like political stuff,
Constantly.
ethical arguments,
Mhm.
you know, health advice, like what's true, what's false, that we don't have like the correct tools to apply to that. So like one day we just wake up and there's so much stuff that's happened in our life that we're like, what is going on? Like I'm suddenly all stiff and my
Yeah.
head's going like this. And so you kind of need to just decide that you're going to live like slower and calmer from now on. Like the old way of just letting everything just be insane and like taking on more and more and rushing around needs to end. Like there's no way forward with that anymore. You literally need to just like be like, all right, I'm just gonna calm down now. That's all, and you just have to.
Yeah. That's the goal in life.
Yeah. I would try the second movement called knees side to side. It's very soothing
Okay.
and very
Mm.
basic, and it'll really target like lower back feelings. Do you have lower back pain?
I have neck and back on my right side only.
Yeah.
Lower
And
back pain,
especially,
mid back pain, cervical, right arm.
did you get the upsell with the neck pain no more program as well?
I'm not sure. I just got it like 2 days ago, so I haven't had a chance to look at everything.
Yeah, start with the back pain ones, back pain miracle. And later on, when you want to do your neck, I've got a neck pain program as well called neck pain no more.
Mm, okay.
It's kind of even like in a way, a better course. It's like 35 movements that just totally help you explore the entirety of your neck and shoulders. So good things
That's
ahead.
great. I'll look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, the way forward is there, and read the book as well.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay. Do you have any other questions that I can answer while I'm still with you?
No, I guess I'm just here to see what advice and what other
Sure.
people are asking as well. Yeah.
Sure. Feel free to ask another question later. How'd you go, Hildy? Did you fix your volume there?
Yeah, I did put my earphones on. It's okay now. Uh, I have started with the back pain miracle about 2 years ago, and it was very helpful for me, especially learning about being conscious, doing everything consciously. What I'm having a problem now is I'm 83 years old, and I have very tired. I have pain in my lower back, but it's more like tiredness. And I sit too much because it's too hard to walk. So what exercise would you suggest? Did you hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, so you
All
said
right. No.
so you said it's too hard to walk, right?
Yeah, my legs and my back gets sore.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing any standing exercises at all?
What do you mean? Your exercises? I haven't done any exercises for a while from your book, but I
That's
do
fine.
regularly I do exercise in the bed, stretching and bending, and yeah, I don't do much else. And I do, sorry, um, you know, doing squats, and I do it in the pool.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to do every day a bit of squats and yeah, in the pool, just movement.
Well, I think those aqua aerobics are really effective. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you say okay, you're doing movements in the pool, like you're exercising, right? Like,
Yes.
do you notice a positive effect on your body?
Yeah, I think it gets easier, but just for a short time.
Mm.
I
And
think
a
I
short time, like a
think
day
my
or just a few hours or what?
a few hours. I think I don't know.
Because it is possible to feel good at that age. For example, I've seen this ballet teacher. When I was doing ballet in Russia, and my ballet teacher would always show me this like 85-year-old ballet teacher who could just move like incredibly,
Oh,
right?
wow. Yeah.
It was like, you know, absurdly good. Like you'd be like, how is this person 85, right? They look 55 and they're moving is, you know, better than me, basically, way better than me. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I
did
would
have,
say like,
yeah.
sorry, just let me go. I would say like you know, you try to do exercises, right? You try to walk around, but it hurts. Yeah. Like you get
Yeah.
pain. And
No,
when you get that pain, you kind of stop, right? Like it scares you off and you don't want to do it. Yeah.
I don't get pain when I'm doing the exercise.
Okay.
I have pain during the day. When I get up, I'm pretty good. I do my exercise and I jump and I run and on the spot. And the exercise I do, like I told you, the squats and this, and then during the day I'm okay for a while. As soon as I sit more than half an hour, I get pain.
Okay. So is that the main source of pain for you, like sitting?
Yeah, I think I sit too much, and then I get up, and then I have problems walking, and after a while it's okay. So I wonder, is there a certain exercise I could do, or just not sit? But because I'm tired, I have to sit.
Yeah. Like, do you do any exercises when you're sitting?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it.
Yeah. That's actually really important. Like, I used to have pain sitting as well, like all the time, right? Like if I would just sit, it would instantly hurt,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
just immediately. Like it wasn't even like, oh, I've been sitting too long. It's just like as soon as I start sitting, my back would just rage, right?
All right.
So sitting is like one mode of activity, right? And I think what we kind of want sitting to be is that like, we do activity when we're standing up, and then when we sit down, it's supposed to be like completely relaxing and we just do nothing, right? And we can just like abandon all consciousness of the body. And just sit there and expect to feel good or something because we're like in some relaxing position. But I actually started to treat sitting as a possibility for an exercise position. So,
Okay.
I would sit there, and you can see me on camera, like I would sit down and I would do
I
exercises.
don't have video. Okay.
That's all right. I mean, I can explain it. It's not important, right? But like,
Mm.
there's a lot of I think what position most people are in for sitting. I don't mean like the literal position. I mean like the situation, right? Is that they're sitting down and then everything's collapsing, right? Like
Yeah.
they haven't learned to sit in a way that like that works, that is actually appropriate, and everything is supported and you have control of all your joints and muscles, and you can actually do something like that. Like the body just goes bleh. Okay, so
So
what I would do, go ahead.
you mean sitting consciously?
Yeah, I definitely mean sitting consciously. I mean sitting on the seat, like, and literally like just doing like a conscious movement, a meditative movement session for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and just sitting there and just restructuring your body and getting everything to work better. Like what you would do standing, and you're trying to stand better, but
Uh-huh.
you're literally just sitting and you're just exploring all your muscles and mastering the position. And where you feel discomfort, you feel discomfort. You're like, well, how can I move to kind of like work on that. And see, I think what a lot of people do when they're sitting is like they feel the pain and they kind of like squirm around and try to just move to find some static position that's like the least painful position. But
That's
really
right.
what you have to do is you have to be like in this constant movement, right? Like when you sit down, you don't stop moving, right? You actually keep
All right.
adjusting yourself,
Yeah.
shifting your weight around, going into a slouch, sitting back up straight, leaning over to one side, leaning over to the other side, lifting your arms up, moving your neck around, lifting your legs up, going on one foot, going on another foot, and just really starting to treat this as a living, thriving activity rather than just sitting, right?
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
now, I have one other thing to ask you. I had a fracture about 5 years ago in the lumbar spine, crash T11, T12. I'm quite okay with that, but do you think it still has to do with that, or is it just me not moving enough?
yeah, see, like you have injuries, right? But
Yeah, I did have.
injuries, like I mean, generally, like people have injuries, right? Like it happens, and some people like are okay afterwards, and some people are like not okay afterwards, right? Like it stays, it remains chronic, and they have pain, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
does the injury have something to do with it? Yeah, yeah, probably, right? But I don't think that that really like, but the thing that really causes pain to remain chronic, right? So you've got the
Yeah.
cause, the acute cause that happened as an injury, but what's causing that to remain chronic is the lack of, you know, conscious movement and rehabilitation of the area, right? Like you need to
Mm-hmm.
get into that area that whichever disc that was you said, and you need to be moving that around and teaching that area to live
Mm.
again and thrive again.
All right. I think when I had all these X-rays and whatever, they told me you have an awful back. It looks pretty bad, and I think since then, I think that went into my head, and
Yeah.
since then,
Yeah.
I I feel not as free anymore as I did
Yep.
before. I never ever had problems before,
Right.
and
Yep.
since they told me that I had an awful back.
Yeah. 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 Don't believe that, right? Because once you
Yeah.
get into the belief that you have a bad back or you have an awful back, you live in that way, right? I'm not saying that
Yeah.
you like in a way you manifest it, right? I know, there's all that whole law of attraction, etc. Like you say it is that way, therefore it is. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that once you believe that it's that way, you live as if you have a bad back. And
Yeah.
then you never do the things that heal your back because they're the opposite, right? So you live in there. The medical industry like wants you to like surrender to the pain. They're just like, this is bad. You can't do this. Sit doing nothing and give up, right? Don't do that. Live
Yeah.
live as if if you can't admit to yourself that you have a good back yet, live as if you have a back that improves day by day, right? My back
Yeah.
improves
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
by day. It gets better every single day. That can be the
Mm.
fact, the true fact about your back. Even though you're in your 80s, most people are like, your back can't get better as you get older from 80s. No, I'd say it could, right? There's still lots of
Yeah.
potential there. I've seen a
Mm.
90-year-old woman doing gymnastics, like on parallel bars and like doing a handstand on parallel bars. So you can just get better. It's just a fact.
So if you do the exercise and it hurts while you are doing exercise, is it still helpful or should I stop?
There's a sweet spot, right? Like
Yeah.
if like there's no this like pushing into pain, like no pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. That's not quite what it is, right? It's more like,
Yeah.
oh, I detect a little pain. Now let me just modify how I'm doing this and just slightly shift my joints around and you're actually
Mm-hmm.
unpaining, right? You're not like pushing through pain. You're working with pain to transform it into function, right?
Okay.
Where you
All
find
right.
pain, you're just transforming that into
Mm-hmm.
function.
So it has a lot to do with the mind, huh?
Oh yeah, it's like how, like this mentor I had, Egwin, he said what we're teaching is how you consciously interact with your body.
Exactly. And it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
interacting with the physical in like a positive, empowered way,
yeah.
as opposed to like this victim status. My back is bad. I can't do this.
So even in my age, I haven't been doing. I couldn't do yoga anymore because I got cramps, and every time I did my positions, I got cramps. So I stopped doing yoga. And would you say it's good to start again?
See, you don't have to stop doing yoga. You might have to stop doing that level of yoga. But yoga is essentially movement, right? So you can find the level of yoga that is exactly right for where you are now and expand from there.
I just have to find the best yoga teacher. Or
find someone who wants to work with you at your level so you can master where you're currently at, rather than someone who's always trying to force their ideal of perfection
yeah,
performance on you, right?
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You want it to be
Maybe
easy. You want
maybe
to move with ease, not with like challenge and difficulty, right?
yeah. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. You're
And
welcome.
I'll try to do my exercise. Use your middle thing, or would I start with the light one? You know, your
Ask that
free
question again.
exercise at the free exercise you gave to us.
Yeah, did you get access to that course?
I did get that, but I'm so frustrated getting in and out, and I mean, I'm not so very good in computer, but sometimes by accidents I get in. So I try on that again.
Yeah, just sit with it calmly. Take your time.
Mm.
And if you have a further problem, just send me an email. Maybe I
Okay, I
can make a
send you
video
a mail.
demonstration.
Okay then.
But yeah, just it works. Just focus on it and
Okay.
think what you got to do and do it, and you'll get it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure thing. Okay, who else we got? Anyone feel free to speak up. Might just look in the chat, just see if there's any. Okay, let me just go through. I'm gonna call out names, but if anyone's been waiting a while, they want to just speak up. Okay, let me just go through. Angela. We still got Maureen. And then we've got Beverly. Okay, we got Ernesto. I think I spoke with Ivana, and then we have Latonya. All right, guys, you gotta speak up. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Just tell me what's going on. Okay, I have some content to share. It's similar to the email that I sent out yesterday. I sent out this email about, it was a pretty dark email.
Hey.
Hello, who's speaking? Okay. Yeah, I sent an email yesterday that was all about like judgment and anger, these like negative energies. Hatred, kind of like advanced versions of the same thing, really. Just more energetic judgment. and they kind of stem from fear. So you got fear, judgment, anger, hatred, and after that you get pretty bad symptoms. And what I noticed is that that kind of energy kind of like gets emitted, right? Like we fall into these like belief systems that are based on fear and judgment, and then we start being afraid and being judgmental. And you can actually notice this like this energetic form of that. Like there's thoughts. All right, you can notice like if you have like thoughts that are like anxious thoughts, right? People go to like the psychologist because they have anxious thoughts, right? Or you know, they go for anger issues. It's like, but you can kind of notice at a more primal, not primal, but just like more fundamental level. All right, you can actually notice like this just like this fear activity, this fear stream that's just kind of like constantly running. It's below the level of thoughts. All right. And same with judgment. You know, if you notice really deeply, you can notice like this just stream of judgment that just goes out towards things that you don't like, people that you don't like, and things that you're angry at, etc. Right? Now that is like some sort of like energetic transmutation of like just negative belief systems that are like floating around in the collective, and like we like pick them up and buy into them as if they're true, and then pump out fear and judgment ourselves. Yeah. Anyway, that stuff like turns into pain, right? That's like the source of it. That's the lowest levels of pain creation, fear and judgment, right? Um, so you want to kind of stop that, right? You want to not be afraid, and you want to not be judgmental. Two immediate things that you want to do, yeah. But in terms of stopping that, it's not like you can like think your way into it, or focus on it and like try to exert some power over it, right? You can't like just don't be afraid, or like just stop being like, you cannot do it, right? So the only way to kind of like end that cycle is to replace it with something else. And that's more of like a heart focus, a love focus, and a breath focus. Okay. And that just kind of like ends that. It's just like you literally unplug from that mode of consciousness, right? It's basically, I've covered this in some other material that I've done in a podcast I have called The Mind Blown Zone with someone called Brad. And we talk about how there's kind of like two states of consciousness. There's like this egoic consciousness, you might label it, that's like fear and judgment oriented, and then there's a heart consciousness, and like just life consciousness. It's just like you're outside of that fearsome judgmental thought stream. You're just not in that, right? You haven't fixed it, you haven't ended it, right? It's like if you have like it's like if you live in one area that's just like everything there's bad, right? Like a neighborhood. It's just a bad neighborhood. All these problems always happen in this bad neighborhood, right? So you could fix the entire neighborhood. You could keep trying to fix the whole neighborhood, or you could just move neighborhood, right? And then you just move to another neighborhood. This isn't a debate about what's possible in terms of finances. It's just imagine if, right, you move to another neighborhood, and then all the problems just aren't there, right? And that's what you can kind of do. So the perpetuation of the pain in your body fundamentally comes from the continued fear and judgment oriented energies. Okay, that's like the fundamental cause of the reason why they become chronic, right? Stay chronic. So if a few times a day, whenever you notice that, you're like, oh, I'm in that mode, right? Oh, I'm in that. What you do is you go, okay, you're like, oh, okay, I have awareness, right? First step is awareness. easiest thing to focus on from there is your breath. Start to focus here, just in the nose. You know, you can do things like fully breathe out. Right? I usually find 3 breaths. So you're actually like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm breathing. Then you shift the awareness down to the lungs. So instead of just focusing on the nose, you're like, feel full breath, nose and lungs, right? And then from there, you take the focus into the heart. And once you get the focus on the heart, you literally just don't hear those energies anymore. Like those thoughts that are like rushing around, being all afraid and like worrying and anxious and angry at stuff, they literally just are no longer there. And this isn't like a trick. This isn't repression. This is literally just stepping off that mode of consciousness, because that mode of consciousness is always available to you. You don't have to live in that, right? That's the kind of trick that you think that you need to like fix that mode of consciousness, but that mode of consciousness just exists. Some people just don't live there ever, right? So you can actually just step outside of that and just be here. Now, there's no, like, you're going to go back into it. You're going to go back into the fear in that. But you just keep coming out of it. And you basically just end up spending less time in that mode of consciousness. And you spend more time in this breath and heart-oriented consciousness, love-oriented consciousness. And basically, when you're in that, it's just like healing energies circulate throughout the body. It's not like a scientific biological explanation, but it's just like that, right? Like you basically go into the mode of living where you feel good. And then everything's good in that space. Like your body heals, you feel better, your life starts going better, etc. Okay, that's the content that I want to deliver. Does anyone have any specific questions about that? Or did that resonate with anybody? It'd be great if someone could speak up here, because it takes two people. It takes me and the group to have this conversation. So if someone could weigh in, that'd be great.
Yeah. Hi, Matt. I'm sorry I missed you when you called my name. It didn't really get to me because I was busy doing things in this room here. But anyway, I
You're
want
good.
to ask you about after you've been hit by a car, in my case, and it was nearly 20 years ago or 24 years, whatever. And I still have the pain. Like I've got a shin splint that flares up if I try to hike. My feet are really flat. I got one that's quite twisted. And but I'm revving up, right? I'm going to do hikes. I'm starting to climb a bit again and get off my butt more than I was, because I'm a screen addict. I mean, I admit that, for the past 5 years. When the surgeon fixed the tib fib fracture, he put a titanium rod down. I guess there's a plate and a screw near the ankle. And believe it or not, when the weather changes, I still feel it. Like I get achy and stuff. I mean, it's not as bad as it was, but it used to be pretty bad. So what would you say to that? Like I want to pace myself. Like I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, I don't want to be lazy either.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, because you're aware that if you hike too hard, you're gonna get some sort of punishment, right? Whereas if you just don't hike at all, you're also gonna get punishment. So you're trying to find where's the sweet spot, right? Would you agree with that, Angela?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yep. So tell me where you currently perceive like the best way to do it. Like you're doing little hikes or something, right?
Yeah,
Just getting back into it.
I think I've gotten up to 5 miles 2 days in a row. When I first got back into it, I woke up in the middle of the night. I mean, everything seemed to be aching and tight. And I thought, I'm going to just push through this. Like, I'm going to relax. I'm going to hydrate more. That's another thing. I know I don't hydrate enough. And I'll just move as usual, and I'll get back into it tomorrow. And I did. And then I did two days in a row there. And I felt absolutely great. So that now I can start climbing again. And I don't even feel hardly winded. I also have a bit of a heart problem, right? I thought, I am not going to let everything atrophy like I did after I was hit. And they told me, oh, stay off your feet for 4 to 6 months. I said, no, I'm going back to work for 3 months. And I injured myself again. But I just kept going. And unfortunately, I didn't follow through with the physio as I should have. I should have just kept it going, right? And I didn't. And I'm paying for it now.
Well, I actually think
So-
that you have the right mindset in place. Like, I think you're
Okay.
correctly and rationally seeking to do this activity and putting your effort into finding what the right amount for you is at this time. But you still seem to have some level of concern about it. Do you want to go deeper into what you're actually concerned about here? Because from my perspective, it sounds okay.
Well, I'm concerned about another flare up, like
Right.
bursitis, for example. I had that a really bad bout in 2012 and it hasn't come back. And I thought, well, if I press too hard, especially if I'm carrying stuff on my back, for example, I'm risking this because I know what I've done in the past. And believe it or not, I just turned 73 and I'm trying to return to at least the level of fitness I was in my late 50s. Because at that point I was able to work in the sun, like really hot sun for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my goal. I want to at least go back to that instead of getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Okay, well then let's actually quantify this. Like, let me just suggest some things, and you tell me, like, is that outside of your? Okay, like, just imagine you're gonna hike 3 times 1 hour, 3 times per week, 1 hour each time. Does that sound like a lot or not much?
1 hour each time. I tell you right now, if I pedal, that shin splint is going to be murderous. I've
Okay, so
tried
1
that.
hour is 1 hour is a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about half an hour?
At this point, I don't know because I haven't tried in years.
Oh, okay. So you actually, okay. So there's a range of activity that you actually haven't gone into for quite a long time, and you're still worried
Yeah.
if when you do it that you're gonna have like a flare up, basically, right?
Yeah, because that's what's happened before. Like walking, like I've been walking since I was a toddler, like long walks, wandering around, and that's how I work off tension. And that's I pray and I think and I try to solve problems while I'm walking. I admire nature, I really feel at peace. So that is my main thing now. I do a lot of stretches too. I should get into more of the stretches actually.
Okay. So the main, just let me clarify. I know you've said this already, but I just want to really clarify. The main fear here is that if you do walking for too long, you're going to get a flare up, right? And you're not sure how to approach that. You're not sure how you can cross that barrier. Is that right?
At this point, yeah, because I'm a high energy person, I tend to push too far and too fast. And
Yeah.
then something happens. And and I thought, oh, okay, like what have I torn this time? So it's just something I have to learn is just to not overdo it once because that's going to mean a setback. And then it's a setback, then I have to start again from square one, so to speak.
Yeah, I'd say
And
that's a fair way of looking at it. And I think you don't, there's no need to go really far quickly, right? Because, like, imagine you just space this out over a year, right? You just had your expansion and improvement happen over a longer term, consistent, gradual effort, right? You'd get where you wanted to go. Might take a year or something, but that would be okay, right? You don't need to try to get some quick results and prove to yourself anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just
So,
me. I'm always competing against myself.
yeah, because, like, the clear rational thing that someone would do here is like, well, just take what you can currently do. So you can walk 10 minutes and just walk 11 the next day, or the next time, and then the next time walk 11.5 minutes or something, right? And see that's kind of clear, but and easy, right? That would be a simple formula that you could do, just a gradual
Yeah,
step
walk
up.
more than
But
that, I'll tell you.
say that again.
Oh, I walk more than that. Sometimes I race walk too, and I'm like, okay, Lau, let's do this 2.5 clicks or whatever, and let's see if we can do it in 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever, you know. And let's try to go a little faster and see if we can do it in less time. So far so
Right.
good.
I think you seem to be honing in on like it seems like a problem that you've had in the past where you would overdo it, right? But it seems like you've recently
Oh
become
yeah,
conscious of that, and
constantly.
you're getting good at that. You're like improving at not overdoing it. Would that be true?
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much. Like you actually sound like you have the right idea in mind, and it's just settling down. I would say that soon you're going to find how to consistently just do an amount that's just a little bit more expansive and not overdo it.
What about a twisted spine? I have scoliosis. My chiropractor from a few years back actually said you have the most twisted spine I've ever seen. And I was astonished. I had no idea it was that bad. And he said, I will give you free treatments for a year. And at the end of the year, if you don't improve, I'll write out a disability form. I said, I don't need one. I know I'm going to improve, you know. So I thought,
Okay, but
this
what's
is
your question?
fascinating. Yeah, I just wanted to like what advice would you give somebody who is fighting these, well, what would you call it, a twisted spine? I mean, it's because it's going to affect the nervous system, of course, and it's going to affect everything in your body, basically.
Okay.
So that's a nice challenge.
Okay, so say, okay, fine. The identification of the problem is a twisted spine, but what's the goal?
The goal is to cope with it as much as he can, and hopefully he can improve the subluxations enough. But then it's like you have to run to the chiropractor a lot more frequently than I do, right? So,
Well, if the
I
goal is
often
just to
wish I could
cope,
just adjust my own spine.
okay, but if you're saying that the goal is to cope with something, then that's not really, then there is no goal, right? Like I can give you advice, but I need to know like what actual improvement that you want to reach.
Well, improvement would be not to be in pain from it, sciatic pain and stuff like that.
All right. So
But
you
how
want to
can you align a misaligned spine? Like if this is something I was born with, and then it just got worse from not being fed enough as a child, for example, having severe falls, including falling from a horse and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you
And do you
malnourished and had
believe
a tough life,
that okay, I understand. Presently it's misaligned. Okay, fine. Do you believe that it cannot align any more whatsoever?
I really don't know at this point. In this point in my life, I really don't know. Like it can be straightened for a while, and then as soon as I start carrying something or you know lurching, and I lift something or something like that, then I have to be worried.
And when you say it can align for a while, you mean like if you, for example, go to the chiropractor or something and they align it,
Yeah,
or what?
exactly. He's very, very good, but I mean, he can't be with me because I like you say, well, maybe you should be lifting like 5-gallon pails of water, for example, and carrying those, and I do that.
Right. Okay, so we have that fact, right? Your spine can be more aligned, right? There is a less aligned and a more aligned version in your life. And you're saying, well, after you go to the chiropractor and it's more aligned, what you feel like you'd be happy if you felt that way, generally?
Yeah, I'd be happy if all the vertebrae would stay in place as they should, but they don't. It's
Yeah,
always the
exactly,
same.
right? Yeah, good
You gotta
observation, right?
adjust, and sometimes others.
Yeah, no, that's a really good observation. Like, your spine can be more aligned, but it falls out of place, right? The chiropractor can put it there, but you can't keep it there, right?
No.
But there is an ability that you can gain where you can align your own spine. Like you actually can do those things that the chiropractor does. And I'm not talking about putting your hands on your own back and pushing it into place. I'm talking about consciously using your muscles to literally put your spine in place. Like that's a fact. But do you believe yourself capable of that?
If you could walk me through it, sure. I know I need
I
to
mean,
strengthen
I can
those
walk you
muscles.
through the concepts. Like,
Okay,
you know
I'm
those
taking
positions
notes
that they
here.
put you on? Like, you can lay down on the ground with the intention to align your spine, right? You can say, I'm going to lie down on the ground right now or in my bed, and I am going to consciously reposition every joint in my body such that I get a more aligned spine. Do you realize that?
Well, that's what you're saying. I'm right now. I can't say that I really. There's a lot of things I wish I could do or I intend to do, and I haven't been able to do them. There's a lot of things that people
That's
say I'll
fine.
never be able to, do, and I've
That's
done it.
fine. I understand. Okay. So you do believe that the spine can go there, though, right? The chiropractor can put it there.
Uh-huh.
So what do you believe it is about your physical structures that are presently preventing you from putting your spine where the chiropractor puts it?
All right now, as I said, I need to strengthen certain muscles, and I don't even know what all I need to strengthen. It's just that I know
Right.
when I was doing like sort of like curl ups and things like that, it helped
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, I understand this strategy. So if people think that to get the alignment that they're looking for, they need to strengthen the muscles, and then when they have the strengthened muscles, then they can use those strong muscles to put their spine in alignment. But that's kind of like some roundabout way of thinking about it, right? I'm going to go do non-aligning exercises and take whatever this idea of strength is, stronger muscles that I've used that are strong to do non-aligning exercises, and then I'm going to apply that to alignment, which isn't how it works, right? You actually want to let the alignment, let the intention of just consciously aligning the spine. And which muscles do you think you're going to use to do that? The exact muscle fibers and exact muscle intentions that are required for the aligning. And that's what will get stronger. So the actual exercises that you need to do are not whatever, some like muscle strengthening exercises. They're just alignment exercises. Like you need to like literally lay down in your bed and just attempt to consciously relax in your body and just shift your spine toward where you want it to go. And you're going to get better at that. See what I'm doing with my hands now? This is like my, say this is your spine, right? It's not aligned. And you're just like kind of like willing little bit by little bit, like a better alignment, right? And it's not going to be fast. See, the chiropractor can just push it in 1 second, right? But you might have to do kind of this and will your spine into the right alignment over a long time, over months or something like that. But you have to start with the belief that you can do it. And you have to start with literally doing it. Does this make sense?
Well, it sounds kind of abstract and magical, and I really don't believe in magic. But like if the will is there,
Oh, okay.
who
I'm
knows
sorry.
what's
It's
gonna
not
happen.
abstract and it's not magical. Okay. It's very precise and it's not abstract and it's not magic. Your muscles are attached to your spine or to your spine. You have voluntary control over your muscles. Your muscles move your skeleton. It's not abstract and it's not magical. If you don't believe that your muscles can move your spine, I mean, I'm sorry, that's magical. That's a magical belief. That's a fantastical belief because that's completely not true. So I think your point of belief that you want to cross here is that you have to see how you can believe that you can you got this brain. Your brain there's a nervous system. It connects to your muscles. and you can control your muscles, and you can tell them to move your skeleton and your spine toward alignment. And it might not go perfectly straight, but there's no reason why they can't make some positive progress, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I would not take that choice to believe something like that is magical and abstract, right? That's, if you take that, that's like really not believing in yourself that you can have what you want here. It's not, it's a disempowered belief, right? But an empowered belief is that you actually can move your spine. And it sounds like I didn't have as compromised spine as you do, but I definitely had abnormalities in my spine. And I used to go to a chiropractor. I stopped going to a chiropractor, and I began to just reposition my spine by myself, by my own conscious will. And you might not be able to do it all the way to perfect alignment, but I guarantee you can make gradual positive progress. And you should definitely believe that you can too.
Okay. I also want to tell you that when I've had a series of strokes, mild strokes, and I was paralyzed on the left side a couple of years ago. And I said, I believe in neuroplasticity, and I believe I'm going to be able to recover everything that I've lost. And I just started using my right arm to move my left arm and to perform tasks. And of course, because the right hand was so flaccid for hours, I couldn't do much. Very frustrating. I thought, oh, tomorrow, praise God, I'm going to be able to do this. And I got all the power back. It just took a little while longer than I would, because I want things immediately. This is the problem.
Right.
I'm just
yes.
like, why can't I recover immediately? Well, it's going to take a few hours, and you're going to have to hydrate more, and you're going to have to stay awake for more hours than you want to, because everybody was afraid that if I fell asleep that I would not wake up. I could have it could be a major stroke next time. And sure, that's a risk, but I mean, I've looked up all kinds of stuff to take for blood clots and what have you, and I'm more active now, and yeah, just keep on going. So, and they say, oh yeah, keep cayenne in hand, because if it's a clot, it'll bust the clot right away. Well, lately I've done it when I had 2 strokes within a week of each other. I had the cayenne ready, but before that I wasn't using anything, just prayer.
All right. So you got to summon up that belief when you, the same time when you were rehabilitating one side of your body and you made progress, you got to do that with your spine. You got to believe it's possible.
Yeah.
And you got to be patient.
I get your point.
You have to.
Okay.
There's no other choice. You want to be empowered and believe you can, or you want to be disempowered and believe you can't. You got to choose the empowerment.
All right. I'll do it.
You'd better. Okay.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.